Okay, so hey beauties. Let me just tell you really quick. I was excited to do this video just in general, right? Um, but I just got an invite to a private screening of The Devil Wears Prada 2. And you guys know how I was when I found out. I posted a video about it. I don't really talk about I only talk about work online. So if I'm posting a video about it, I'm excited. What I'm saying is my morale for doing the video is so much higher than it was when I first started recording. I'm extremely happy. I'm extremely happy. And it's the beginning of March. This is the real new year. Lots of new things. It's less of a trend and more like infrastructure. Let's get into this. The biggest beauty shift of the year, I mean, we're in March, early March. So that is not a trend. And I'm saying that because I usually talk about trends. This is more like infrastructure, and this is very important to all beauty founders everywhere. And if you're a beauty founder working with a contract manufacturer, this is literally something that can shut your business down if you're not paying attention. Let's talk about what Macra is and why it's important. I work with beauty founders to help them formulate and scale. And one of the biggest risks I'm seeing right now has nothing to do with ingredients, surprisingly. It literally has everything to do with compliance. Macra is the Modernization of Cosmetics Regulation Act. It was signed into law, I believe, in 2022. And it is quite literally the biggest regulatory update to the cosmetic industry in over 80 years. Imagine something being the exact same for 80 years. That's a long time to not do any changing. Okay, let's move on. Before this, cosmetics in the US were barely regulated in comparison to drugs and food. There was no mandatory facility registration, no standardized product listing system. Now that's completely changed. On its way to. Manufacturing facilities are now required to register with the FDA. Renew the registration every 2 years and follow documented safety and record-keeping systems. And here's what just happened this week that most beauty founders might have missed. The FDA actually updated the Cosmetics Direct portal. This is the system where manufacturers and brands submit their facility registrations and product listings. Now it's becoming more structured and more visible. Registration status is easier to track. It was almost impossible before. Renewal deadlines are much more clear, which means you won't get it. We'll talk about that later. Compliance is no longer buried under a bunch of paperwork, because that's what it was before. A bunch of paperwork. I'm triggered. And it's now organized. That's huge. That's major. All chemists everywhere, whether they're in formulation or regulatory, we all are very happy about this change. And that might sound small, but it's not. Because when compliance becomes visible, it becomes enforceable. Now let's talk about that shift from being hidden to trackable. Historically, compliance in beauty was very behind the scenes. Very behind the scenes. You trusted your manufacturer. You assumed they were handling everything. There was no centralized system that you could easily reference for information. Now we're moving into a system where the FDA can track facilities much more efficiently. Retailers can and will start requiring proof of that compliance. Brands can now be held accountable for who they work with. You can no longer say or claim ignorance. You will be just as liable. And this is the shift that founders need to understand. We are moving from relationship-based manufacturing to systems-based manufacturing, which is why you should have those same systems in your business. And I think sometimes because beauty is so creative, beauty, wellness, all of that is so creative and so intuitive. You actually pour culture and history and preference, and it's art. See, I'm gonna get to going, but beauty is art because sometimes, art is supposed to be beautiful. Sometimes we think about compliance later. You know what I mean? Compliance is one of the biggest blind spots that I see a lot with founders who try to scale. And it's one of the first things that can break when you start growing, especially if you're not aware of it and it's on the back end. If you're building a brand that you want in retail and you want partnerships with and you want to eventually scale, or you're ready to scale right now, this is something you need to understand deeper: compliance. You do not want to wait until you grow. And if you get there first, you know what I mean, call me and I'll help you on the back end. But if you have the opportunity to be better prepared, I think you always should. That's why I created the Beauty Business Brief. That's why I work with founders building systems that they can actually scale and that are sustainable, that actually hold up to an influx or an increase. You don't know until those opportunities start coming in and you're not ready. Be ready for the opportunity that you say you want. And honestly, this is just one of those things that doesn't look important until it is. That paperwork. Paperwork tear people up. If you don't want to do your paperwork, okay. And I'm not like mad at you. No judgment here. If you don't want to do your paperwork, fine. But you must work with someone who will. I'm just saying. Compliance is quiet, but it provides that structure, and you can depend on structure. Structure is dependable. We like dependability, right? And the brands that understand structure early are the ones that scale without disruption. Or I don't even want to say that. I'm gonna just say the ones that scale, because there's gonna be some disruption. Scaling, growing. Who said that was gonna be easy? I don't know who said that. If you're building something you actually want to last, compliance is the part you do not skip. I have a beauty business brief where I break this down in a way that's a little more organized. It's not like a book. You just have to get it. I can't explain it to you. If you found value in this video and you're building something that you want to last, you might be interested. And if you're at a stage where formulating, scaling, or working with manufacturers, I also work closely with founders on the matters as well. It's all linked for you in the description. It's springtime. Winter's coming. I don't know what the next video is going to be about, because there's a couple things I do want to touch on. One of the things is what founders should be asking their manufacturers before production. There's a system to that, because most of us are asking the wrong questions. Next, I want to show you what it looks like when a manufacturer is not compliant, how that actually plays out for your brand behind the series, with maybe some real world context, some real world context. I don't know. That could be kind of shady though. I don't know if I'm gonna touch that. Or 3, I was thinking about like showing what a compliance system actually looks like. So you're not like just relying on like trust. You know what I mean? I was like gonna go over some scenarios. But see, I don't know if that's all like YouTube video stuff. Like that stuff like I said, I don't mind sharing what I teach, but I don't know. People might find that boring. So anyway, beauties, until next time, send me a message if you have any questions. DM me, or you can email too. I think I get back to DMs faster, but I don't know. Stay beautiful, beauties. See you.